Test, test, test. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Here's the Tea, because here's the freaking tea. It has been a while. I know that. Welcome me back, welcome you back, period, right? I do, yeah. Initially, I did have another podcast, and I was supposed to be recording a podcast a week, right? But I just went through a whole nother trauma because of finals, and so I was super busy with that. And then because I was so burnt out from finals, I just did not want to do anything. And then also every time I tried to record it, it just sucked. The right words weren't coming out. I was rambling. I wasn't making sense. I was going all different directions, and it seemed like there was no point to me in talking. Anyways, we're past that, and life update. Me and my friend spent the last few days indulging in just rest and being lazy and purposefully not being productive. What I mean is we would wake up at like 2-3 p.m. and then we would watch movies, and then if we were hungry, we'd either order food or just go to the convenience store and get some cheap fast food and stuff. And then we'd watch movies, stay up talking till like 3 a.m., sleep, and then do it all over again for like the past 3 days. And it was so nice, honestly. Like, I have never indulged in just letting go like that. I don't think ever. But it was nice. And now resetting, and I'm being back to being productive, and today actually has been a really productive day, and I even got a little workout in, so #yes. And it's already past the new year. Today's topic is going to be about New Year's resolutions. Now, here's my thing. I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, and here, let me explain why. I think that you can change your life, change the direction of your life at any given point in time. So you can work on your goals at any time. You don't have to wait for the new year to do them. So I don't really agree with the idea of New Year's resolutions, like waiting the entire year for January to start to like get somewhere on your goals. You know what I mean? Do you like my ASMR eating sounds? So like I was saying, I think that if people have these goals for January and such, why don't you just start them earlier? Like, why do you have to wait for the new year to do them? Like, if you want to lose this certain amount of weight, or you want to get better at a skill, or you want to travel the world, whatever, why wait, right? You can make a change right now, in an hour, in a few days, in a week. But you don't have to wait for January. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So basically, today's topic is going to be about not really a New Year's resolution, but just like a set of goals for myself, right? But I won't disagree that there is a big year ahead, right? And there's a big year and span of time for people to live life the way they want to based on goals and such and such. And let's start from the backstory, I guess. Yeah. So ever since I moved out of Hawaii and I came here, it has been a really great, amazing experience for learning, self-growth, and independence and stuff like that. And I think I really did need this in order to grow. Of course, I am still growing. Absolutely. Almost 6 months that I've been here. Oh my gosh. Wow. 3 of the biggest things I'll tell you. And I'll tell you 3 of the biggest changes that I've gone through while I've been here. First is independence. I think I've always been very independent, and I really prefer to be alone and work on my own and not rely on anybody else and do things as much as possible on my own. And on the occasion, I like to spend time with friends and be in groups and socialize, whatever. But because I've been here and I don't know anybody here besides the friends that I've made, I kind of had to like pick it up and be independent really fast. Like be strictly independent because I was living on my own. I was getting my own groceries. I was paying for everything here. And so I got really good at that. And honestly, independence is kind of addicting because once you do everything on your own and then you have to go back into like a group setting, living with other people, it kind of gets like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to explain it, but some things, for example, small things like walking to the bank, like going to the bank. I would never go to the bank by myself. To me, I think going to the bank by yourself is such a grown-up thing. Like, especially the idea of putting it on your to-do list for the day and like, oh, I have to go to the bank today. Oh my gosh, so independent. What an independent queen, you know what I mean? And I didn't even do really adult bank things. I would just withdraw cash and that's it. But like, I went to the bank, you know what I mean? So that was kind of cool. Also, doing grocery shopping, I found out, oh my gosh, that was one of the things I really love doing because I'm shopping for myself. I know what I like. I don't have to encounter anything I don't like. And if I don't like it, I just don't buy it, right? And growing up in a big family, my parents would always tell me, if you don't like it, don't eat it, right? I mean, it's common sense. Grocery shopping has been one of my favorite things to do. Independent woman, girl, boss, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I get to do a lot of that. And that's another part of independence. The next thing, like doing my own thing, right? When I was still living with my family, just like everybody else, I had to ask my parents for permission to go anywhere, do anything, use the car, and like tell them where I was, tell them who I was with and stuff. And but now that I'm here, oh my gosh, I like get up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to go on a walk today, or I'm gonna sit in a cafe today and stay there for hours, and explore because I want to, you know, and I can, you know. And being my own boss, going out actively and doing what I want to do because I want to do it is so beautiful. I love it. Like, I can't stress enough. But like the downside of it is because you're alone, because you're doing things independently, there's no one to tell you what to do. Like there's nobody who's gonna get you up, wake you up. Nobody's going to tell you to do your homework first before you watch a movie or be productive so that you can earn doing what you want at the end of the day, right? No, you are your own boss. You choose when to be productive. You choose when to do your homework, studies, whatever. And studying was the last thing I wanted to do, even though I had to do it and I wanted to succeed and do good in school. The first thing was independence, was a part of my growth. Second thing was body image. Oh my gosh. So before I came here, my body image was very skewed and I was very critical and judgmental of myself. I really didn't like the way I looked just because I was so focused on what other people thought about me. But in actuality, nobody is actually paying that much attention to you as you think. And I finally got that through my thick skull because of my auntie that traveled with me here and took me to school up here. She told me stuff like, you really have to stop caring so much because you're getting in your own way of being successful and loving yourself and finding yourself because you're so caught up with all this stuff that may or may not be true. And if it is true, why are you letting it bother you so much? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're freaking right. You're so right. Like, I'm getting in my own way, you know? And so after I understood that fully, I was able to wear what I wanted without caring what other people thought about me. And oh my gosh, was it so freeing. Once you stop caring so much about what you think people are thinking about you, you can live life so much more clearly and just like tunnel vision and just ward off everything that you think is coming your way. Oh my gosh. So that's another thing I learned. And it's not that I've reached 100% confidence and like, oh, I'm the baddest bee out here. No, that's not. I am still learning to love my flaws and accept my body for the way it is and my body heritage and stuff like that. Trust me, it's gotten a lot better. And I'm like so happy to be me. Like, you know what I mean? I watched this interview of the actress Zoe Saldana. She's Gamora in Marvel. I watched an interview and she said, I like who I am. I love who I am. I like what I do. I like how I do it, and I like my mistakes, and I like the way I learn, and I like the pace with which I learn. And she said, I wouldn't want to be anyone else. And because she thinks like that, she's like, I'm gonna keep finding out who the hell I am. You know what I mean? And I love that. And I live with that in my head every day. Like every day is a mission to like who I am, to love who I am, to like how I do things and my process of learning and experiencing. That's all a part of my body image, right? So that's great, right? That's another thing that I've really gotten accustomed to and grew in while I've been here. And the last thing would be confidence. And this is kind of like a mixture between the independence and the body image thing. Because I've been striving to be confident all my life, because, you know, I was bullied, LOL. I was bullied and yeah. And I was kind of a doormat. And I also I never want to be on the wrong side of people. I don't want to have anybody mad at me. So I choose to be kind to everybody, right? Yeah. I've been listening to a lot of TED Talks, a lot of speeches, inspirational talks. Who am I? My gosh. But yeah, honestly, I have. And every underlying theme in these talks about confidence is that confidence is not thinking that you're better than everybody else, but it's that you know your worth so much to the point that you don't let what other people think about you get to you. Does that make sense? So like when people try to define confidence, they think of walking into a room with your shoulders back, your chest high, your chin up, and like looking down on people like they're peasants. No, that's not confidence. I've learned, especially making an entrance into a room, confidence is like walking into the room, stopping at the entrance, looking around, and then if you see people, you say hello, introduce yourself, look them in the eye, and assert your presence, basically. And so I've been learning to do that, and especially because I'm a woman living alone in a foreign country, I have to be on the lookout, and I have to assert my dominant presence and energy and confidence in every space that I go into. So how I've been doing that is when I'm walking around traveling, like either on the subway or the bus, I try my best to not be on my phone. Being on your phone makes you an easy target, and it just closes your whole energy to the rest of the world. When I walk into buses or subways, I make sure to look around, make sure to let people know, subconsciously let people know that I'm aware of what's around me and that I'm ready to take on whatever is around me. And if I like walked into these spaces with my nose in my phone and stuff like that, people would know, oh, she's easy, and I personally don't want to be like that. So I make sure to look around, look people in the eye, greet people, smile with my eyes, because mask, whatever. yeah, those are some of the ways that I assert my confidence and my dominance and such. And being that in this country, my, I would say stature is a bit larger than majority of the people here. I think it's a lot easier to assert myself into a space because I do stand out from a crowd, including my skin color and my hair and my height. Yeah. So, anyways, those three things I've learned while I've been here: independence, positive body image, and confidence are what I learned. It's been super fun and fresh. You know what I mean? Now, why did I bring those up? It's all because they are kind of the foundation of goals I have for myself in this new year and just the future ahead of me, kind of thing. Okay, so now some things that I'm deciding to leave in my past or to surrender in 2021, because I think it's really important to know what didn't go so well in your past and leave it in the past and then improve on the future and everything. Some things I want to leave behind are my cowering, making myself small kind of nature thing. I've gotten a lot better at that, but I definitely want to leave that in the past because I want to present myself as confident a lot and I want to be able to have people take me seriously. And when I walk around thinking that I'm a nobody or that I'm make myself really small and like I'm worthless and thinking that I'm worthless all the time, then that'll literally manifest itself into everything. But if I actively choose to be confident and open myself up and assert my presence in every space, then I think that'll be really good for me. Another thing I want to leave in the past is everything I care about that's not worth caring about. What I mean is caring about what other people think, you know, right? Because I used to care so much about what people think, and that got in the way of me doing what I'm passionate about, doing what makes me happy, and doing what I love to do. And for so long, because I had that mindset, like caring about what everybody thought, I didn't post YouTube videos as much as I wanted to. I didn't post singing videos as much as I wanted to. And like I didn't go after what I wanted. And now that I have, oh my gosh, I feel great, you know? So yeah, I'm going to do that. Another thing I want to leave behind is doubting myself. You know, I've had a lot of experience this year with doubting my capabilities and just like making light of the things I'm actually really talented at. And for a long time, I used to think that if you acknowledge a talent that you have, you're being conceited. Like I had to give a presentation on significant memories in my life, and one of those significant memories was reaching this really hard singing note in a rehearsal I had, and I was at a young age and I was still figuring out my voice, and I got that note and I did it in front of everyone and I was so proud of myself. And so I explained that to my class, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this is awkward. And my teacher is like, oh, so you can sing? And I'm like, yeah, I guess, because I didn't want to say directly yes, because I didn't want everybody to think that I was conceited because I acknowledge that I can sing. But now I'm so much more confident in saying, when people ask, can you sing? I say, oh yeah, I can. But now I say it with a different attitude where like I accept that this is my talent and I'm more open about it, and people are like, okay, wow, thanks for letting me know. You know what I mean? Well, something else I want to leave behind is my scatterbrainedness. I don't even know if that's a word. It's probably not. But I feel like last year I was very scatterbrained. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't really focus on things, and that's why things never came to pass and didn't manifest itself because I never focused on things. So this year I want to focus on what I really want and go after them because nobody else is going to do it for me. You know what I mean? Only I am the one who knows how bad I want whatever dream, and I'm the only one that can get myself there, right? Like, I'm the one who can do the action and, you know, take charge and stuff to get where I want to go. And yes, I will meet people who help me and catapult me to other places, other people, other connections to get my dream. But if I don't make any moves now, then I won't get anywhere. And here's another thing. Oh my gosh. I really don't want to admit this, but I thought that based on the singing videos that I post, you know, like every 3 months before I started posting on my reels, whatever, I thought that one of those videos, one of them was going to get noticed by like freaking Simon Cowell or freaking Columbia Records, and they were going to be like, oh my gosh, we want this girl because we saw this one video of her singing, and yeah, and like we want her, and like we want to sign her or whatever. I thought only those videos. I literally have like maybe 5 or 6 singing videos on my Instagram feed before my reels. I thought one of those was gonna be my big break. And then I see all these other artists around me. They're like posting every day. They're experimenting with their voice. They're putting themselves out there constantly, and they're moving quickly, and they're getting to where they want to because they're not afraid to post. They're not afraid to lose the followers, to gain the followers. They're not afraid to do all of this stuff that I was so afraid to do because I was so caught up with what other people would think. And yeah, so that was a hard thing for me to admit because like I really think I'm that good, but I'm really not. And but now that I've, you know, shut that part off and like got rid of that mindset, I've become a lot more open, and I started posting every single day, assuming that nobody's watching. And so that is what's really helped me a lot. And it's a way that I'm focusing on my dream and getting rid of trying to get rid of my scatterbrainness, focusing on what I really want, which is to become a musician and to sing for the world and to, you know, make all my music singing dreams come true. You know? Yeah. I'm sure I'll think of other things later, but those are the biggest things that I know are going to help me grow a lot more in this year now that I get through them and everything. Yeah. So, period. So, some other specific goals would be to read more. I'll get into, to read. So, one of my goals would be to read more. Now, I'll tell y'all honestly, I've never been a reader, and I would always dread it in my childhood because I was much more a visual thinker, and I liked picture books and I liked visual things that stimulated my imagination. And come to find out, reading does absolutely stimulate your imagination. I just didn't like to think so. Like, for example, in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, all of those, I would have to do reading every night for homework. And on my homework worksheets, it would almost always say at least 15 minutes of reading. And then after I did that, I would sign it, and then I have my parents sign it and stuff like that. Now, at the time, I thought at least meant 15 is the most you can read, or 15 is the most that you're allowed to read. And so I'm like, oh heck yeah, that means I don't have to read a lot. And so I would pick a book from the shelf, look at the pictures, and write down I read 5 minutes, and then take it to my dad to have it signed. And he's like, you need to read more. And I'm like, what do you mean? It says at least 15 minutes. And he's like, yeah, 15 minutes is the least you're supposed to read. And I'm like, no. Oh my gosh, no. And I dreaded it every time. And then my dad would give me a book. He's like, okay, read it for 15 minutes, come back, and then I'll sign it. So of course I took the book, watched the clock for 15 minutes, looked at the pictures again. I took it back to my dad and I'm like, okay, Dad, I read 15 minutes. And he's like, okay, what was it about? I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What was it about? He's like, did you read it? I'm like, yeah, I did. And he's like, nope, read it again and bring me the summary and then I'll sign it. So I do it all over again. I'm irritated. I'm like, oh, why can't he just sign the paper? Gosh. And I read it briefly, still analyze the pictures mostly. And I take it back to my dad and he's like, okay, tell me what it was about. And here I go again, not having read it. I look at the pictures and I make up a story based on each picture. And he's like, you didn't read it, did you? I'm like, no, I read it. I just, and he's like, no, read it again. Anyways, we went through that cycle for a few times, and I was so annoyed that I had to read every day for homework. And I used to wonder, why in the world would you waste your life? Why would you waste your life sitting there reading a book? Like, sitting down looking at words. Like, you must be kind of weird. But then in middle school, I found a book that I really liked. I really loved because the author was so talented and she was so, the way she wrote, like, I was able to imagine everything so perfectly, and it was so much fun to read. And that book, it took me the fastest to read. And me, the fastest I've ever read a book was 3 weeks. And some people can finish a book that size in a day. And yeah, it was the Selection series by Kiera Cass, and I loved it so much. So yeah, at that time I didn't really get back into reading, but I've read a lot more books by choice than I had when I was younger, and I'm getting into reading and I like doing it. Even though I don't have a great attention span, like I can't sit down and read a book for hours on end, but I can read a book now and I enjoy doing it. So I hope this year that I get more into reading, you know? Yeah. Another goal of mine would to be building a routine that I stick to. I think majority of my life I just live or I just do things based on when I need to. And I never really lived by a routine except in high school. Routine as in getting up every morning, getting on the bus, stuff like that. But this year I hope to get into a usual routine where I can do good things for my body, physically, mentally, emotionally, learn more each day, be social, see the world, stuff like that. And I think it'll help me a lot in life and such. Another goal of mine is to be a successful content creator, and possibly I really want to monetize on social media and content creation through Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So I really hope this podcast keeps going and is successful and it helps people and stuff like that. The way I've been trying to achieve that so far is by planning out my content in my cute little planner that I got from Daiso, and to sticking to the content that I planned that day, posting it, and using the right hashtags, using the right sounds, using the right posting times and such like that. And it's been working and it's been going good. And yeah, and I just need to be consistent and all things will be good. You know what I mean? Yeah. My goal for this content creation is that I get exposure and someday very soon be able to make my dream a reality, you know. But yeah, if you didn't know what my dream was, I literally have it plastered everywhere. But my specific dream right now is to be a foreigner singing on a Korean drama soundtrack. Ugh, that would be so cool. In the Korean language, singing, yeah. And it's mostly because I'm learning the language, and I've been watching Korean dramas for a long time, and that's how I first started learning the language, and it's been great. And soundtracks to me are the most important part of any movie or show or scene. And the music is the mood, and it makes you feel things, and I just want to make people feel things when they're watching a Korean drama. And then outside of this specific dream, my general dream for myself is to be able to sing for the world, kind of thing. I really want to write my own music, and I'm really trying to change my songwriting process. My songwriting process is I write the chords first, usually almost always on a piano, and then I'm really good at lyrics once I have the chords. So I hope I can get better at changing my songwriting style and writing words first and then finding chords and then producing it somehow. I just freaking need a piano, and I want a studio and stuff. Another general goal of mine is to network really well, make lots of friends, and get to know people, get to know their story, because I found that I really like to talk to people, and I really like to hear their biggest dreams and their story and their past and what they're passionate about. I really love to talk to people, basically. Yeah, for example, I one time I was eating dinner by myself, and then a group of friends, they saw me in the place, and they came up to me and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go do this and this and this. Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I can't come. I'm filming a YouTube video tonight." And one of the girls with them had never met me before. We hadn't met each other before. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, are you a YouTuber? You're making a YouTube video?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be a YouTuber." And so from that, we followed each other on Instagram, and then a few days later I messaged her. I'm like, "Hey, we should totally hang out, because I love to hear about your dream of being a YouTuber, and maybe I can offer you some advice," me acting like I'm a big YouTuber or something. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, of course, I'd love that." And we hung out within the next few nights, and guess what? We literally sat in a cafe, talked for over 5 hours. It didn't even feel, and I'm not even joking. That's not just an estimation. It was over 5 hours. Holy crap. But I found out that we are scarily similar. We believe in the same things, and she's a close friend of mine after that one meeting kind of thing. But that's because I love talking to people. But I'm an introvert, you know what I mean? But once you get to know me, oh my gosh, I do not shut up. But I love to hear people and talk about what they're passionate about, you know? So yeah, I hope that I can get good at networking this year. I hope that I can become more confident. I know I did talk about already becoming more confident while I've been here, but confidence in the sense where I can get what I need within the time that I need it, without being disrespectful, but also being assertive and not cowering out of situations just because I don't just because I'm scared. You know what I mean? I also want to be confident in the sense where if people talk bad about me, or they try to take advantage of me, that I can stand up for myself, not be disrespectful, speak my mind, and my message comes across loud and clear, and they finally get the gist. I just get better at being confident, you know? Another thing I wanted to work on is being productive, you know? I know that I feel best and accomplished when I know I've been productive in the day and I didn't let a day waste. You know what I mean? Where I did everything I wanted to. I took time off my screens. I enriched my knowledge in a lot of other ways than a screen. And that's when I feel the most accomplished, and that's when I can go to sleep knowing that I did a lot of good things. You know, so I hope that I can, on top of the routine goal I have, to be productive a lot of the time. But that's not I'm not trying to say that the only way that life can be good is if you're productive. I'm not saying that, because that is a toxic thought, and you need your breaks, right? And you need time to be lazy, and you need time to rest and just take a break from life, basically. I'm saying that for me, I feel accomplished when I've been productive, and I just want to strive to be like that for a lot of this year and schedule my breaks. Yeah, I think that's all we have for today. I hope that you guys have a blessed new year. I hope you guys can crush some goals no matter when you start it, no matter when you end it. I wish you guys a great year in self-growth and learning, and I hope you guys are able to become the best version of yourself like I am. Yeah. So in general, overall, I just want to become the best version of myself. I mean, who isn't trying to, right? And I also think that if you are looking for an opportunity to grow, and you need to grow and like meet new people, go to a different place, honestly. Like moving out helped me grow up a lot faster and helped me realize who I really am and what I'm capable of, basically. There's a lot of other little goals I want to achieve for myself, but that's all I can really think of right now. So excited for who I'm going to become this year. I'm so excited for what I will accomplish and how much I'll grow and how much I'll change. So I wish you guys luck on all of that. If you related to anything in this podcast, make sure to comment that down below, and also comment what topics you want to hear on this podcast, because I'd be glad to cover them. Yeah, you guys are the best. I'll see you in the next episode, and bye.